All right, what is up? Let's do a little chat check here. See if that's working before we get going here. Not seeing nothing on my end right now. Are we gonna have to do the world famous restart on the chat? Oh, there we go. Yay, the chat's working. All right. So first things first. Let's see here. Legacy Motor Club, which should be, Petty GMS. It should have Petty in the name somewhere. I'm gonna probably, go away on that hill. But let's see here. They hired Todd Gordon for the crew chief of Jimmy Johnson. Todd Gordon, of course, won a championship with Joey Logano on the 22. So Todd Gordon, a good crew chief. He hasn't had any experience with this new car, but I think that's a good hire. They're hiring the right people. And also, they gave an extension to Dave Ellens. They agreed to an extension with Dave Ellens over there with Eric Jones. So I think they're doing all the right things. They're going in the right direction with that. Not only that, but the G in GMS, formerly Petty GMS, I should say, he has said he is sort of closer to the end than the beginning, and he is not afraid to spend money because he wants to win. So whereas a lot of people see this as a small team with a small budget, I don't think they have a small budget anymore because, of course, I think he owns Allegiant, if I'm not mistaken. So he's bringing plenty of money in over there on that side of things. Of course, sponsoring Allegiant Motor Speedway, and of course, as long as he's wanting to win and wanting to put money into it, I think they're in a good spot. Obviously, they lured Jimmy Johnson. They've got the name cachet of Richard Petty, or at least the number cachet. They don't have, I guess, the name cachet and the title anymore, but everybody knows in the know that Richard Petty's involved with the team. So I think they're making big moves over there, and they think they're going also in the right direction. And of course, the other big news is they had the test at Phoenix. But I will jump into your comments real quick here, and then maybe touch on what they're trying over there in Phoenix here in just a little bit. So let's go to the chat. Mark Barnum, what's going on? Bumblebee, what's up? Colorado Car Dude, what's up, my man? Philip Canavan, yep, in the chat. What's up, Philip? Ghost says check check one, Cam two. Yep. So I do have some new equipment here we're going to be testing out pretty soon. So there might be a random live stream that I don't tell anybody about. And it's just going to be probably a bunch of nonsense. It's going to be me testing out some new gear for the upcoming season, trying to make the live stream just a little bit better. So that look for that, or don't look for it because I'm not going to tell anybody about it. But if you see a random live stream and there's nothing going on, just know that I'm testing some new equipment that I've got. Camaro 50, what's up? Mark Barnum, what's going on? Cassandra Keller says, hello from Coeur d'Alene, Idaho. Hopefully, Coeur d'Alene, Idaho. Hopefully, I said that right. What's up, Idaho? One wise guy says, Kurt's still not cleared by doctors for the 2023 season. One wise guy saying that. So, yeah, that's significant for more than one reason. Every concussion is different. Some people bounce back from a concussion, and of course, age plays into it, I'm sure, as well. But every concussion is different, and in this particular situation, his is just lingering. We have seen other athletes in other sports have lingering concussion symptoms and stuff like this. So hopefully he can get this whipped, and hopefully, if he wants to, he can return. 2311, really cool of them. They've left the door open and saying as long as he wants to race, he will have a spot. So really cool of them to do that. But yeah, unfortunately not cleared yet, but I think he will eventually get cleared. And when he gets cleared, I'm pretty sure he's going to want to come back and race because he in his in the ceremony speech, he was talking about daggum. Oh my goodness, his name escapes me right now. But anyway, he said that guy was his hero because he's 90-something years old and he had just raced at Daytona when he was in his 90s. So he said that's his new hero. So good for him. And I do think he will be back. Let's see here. Robin Mark says, the Great White North saying hello. What's up, Canada? What's up, Robin? Let's see. One wise guy says, damn Niners. Yeah, it was a battle, though, man. Y'all didn't make it easy. There's no doubt about that. So, or the Cowboys didn't make it easy, I should say. Let's see here. Dwayne Mueller says, hi, Baloney, go Niners. So there you go, the duality of comments there. Let's see. Cassandra Keller said, what's up to the Great White North? TJ Moorshed says, hello, BB. What's up, TJ? Let's see here. Did you see Haley has new gear? LOL, says Mark Barnum. Uh, I think I know what you're referring to. I haven't gotten a chance to, I guess, look at that. A lot of people have hit my inbox with that one. So I don't know, and I don't really know what I can say about that other than store bought or real doesn't bother me a bit. I could care less, and as far as that goes, I'm literally her dad's age, so I'm out of that. I'm out of that game altogether. So let you guys discuss that amongst yourselves. I'm staying away from that one. Jay Ellis says still a better production than Fox. Yeah, so Fox cameramen have taken a beating, and I don't even think it was the cameraman so much as the guy producing the cameraman and telling which camera to come in and go away. They took a beating last year, and well deserved, especially in the Clash where they set up some of the worst camera angles I've ever seen in my life. So let's see here. Robin Mark says, if I see your test, I'll come on and distract you for fun, says Robin. I appreciate it. Let's see here. Ronnie Watkins, hey, Mr. Berger, love your videos. I appreciate it, Ronnie. I'm trying to get it, trying to get some more videos up here pretty soon. I missed the opportunity to make one today. I've been, my side work has really sort of started to take off. So I've had less time recently than normal, but we'll get back on track here pretty soon. Probably after this week, honestly. Anthony Auto Club Speedway says Cabo Tequila has become the first ever tequila sponsor partnership in NASCAR history. Does that mean they will be taking shots of tequila in Victory Lane now? I don't know, but it sounds good. That was one that I was defeated on, at least the Jose Cuervo version. Jose was one of those ones that I got sick off of it, and I never really wanted another taste of tequila until I found some other brands that were a little more, I guess, better flavor than Jose Tequila. Jose Cuervo, I should say. But I stayed away from tequila for a long time until somebody put me on to the old kamikazes. So, all right, we'll skip. Let's not get this. Let's not get the yellow strike this early in the game. So we'll veer away from that for a second. Robin Mark says head injuries stink as a giant goose egg on my forehead. Should tell you it's personal. Yeah, like some of them never go away. Hopefully, Kurt Busch's does go away, and he can get that going. I do want to see him sort of go out the way he wants to go out, of course. And I think he wants to go out with a few more races to say goodbye to the fans. No doubt about that. Let's see here. Tacona 2 says, hey, BB, where did you get that jacket? I want one. Actually, if you follow me on Twitter at all, I'm having a war over parking spot number 3. We're going over it. But the guy that I'm having a war over parking spot 3 at one of my other jobs, he gave me this jacket for free because he's not an Austin Dillon fan. He says he always puts 3 Dale, not Dillon on the parking spot. So I retaliated with a Austin Dillon sticker over top of it. But he gave me this jacket for free. This is the old Austin Dillon Dow jacket from 2018. I think this is the jacket from the year he won the Daytona 500, if I'm not mistaken. But either way, super cool jacket, and you definitely can't beat the price. So TJ Moorshed says Legacy Motorsports sounds way better. I agree. Like it's the Motor Club possibly part that's really hanging me up. Other than Petty not being in the name, of course, I'm being a big homer about that. But I think a big part of it also is Motor Club makes it sound like a motorcycle club to me. Anytime I see MC, I'm always thinking of Motorcycle Club because I have a bunch of friends that ride and stuff like that. So every time I see MC, I think Motorcycle Club, and for whatever reason, that's what's stuck in my mind. And when I see it on a race car, I'm like, they race motorcycles? Like that's just the way it comes off to me. A lot of people say it looks like a car dealership logo, so that's also a criticism they get a lot. Chrome Diesel says, I see you wearing a brand what Dillon used to eat. Yeah, the old cheer. I'm Dilloned out today. Yeah, so just let's see here. Danny Moore. It's actually, I put this on. I had the Austin shirt on, and then it's a little cold in here, so I actually grabbed the jacket and I was like, well, I got Austin Dillon. I'll throw on an Austin Dillon hat too. Just go all the way with it. So that was the thought process today. That's as planned as it gets some days. Danny Moore says mufflers, thumbs down. So yeah, we should touch on that real quick. They are testing some different stuff over there in Phoenix. One of the things they are testing is an underwing, a shorter spoiler, and an extended air diffuser, trying to get rid of the dreaded aero push, and amongst other things. But they're also, I guess people were complaining that the cars are too loud. So they're muffling the sound a little bit. So a lot that's been mixed. But from what I heard, I forget where I saw it on Twitter. I forgot who said it. I think it was Jeff Gluck. He said the cars are still plenty loud. They're just not as loud as they were. He said they'll still shake you in the seats and stuff like that. So hopefully it's much ado about nothing. But yeah, anytime they quiet them down, that's a bummer to a lot of people. I agree with you there. I understand what you're saying. This is the one sport you can watch and feel. So it is a bummer whenever they sort of quiet them down in any way, shape, or form. Mark Barnum says, I am her granddad's age, BB, LOL. I mean, there you go. I'm not judging anybody. Just trying to keep the check mark green on this one right here. So that's as far as I'll take that one. Michael Honeychuck says, what's up, BB? What's up, Michael Honeychuck? Hope you're doing good. Cody Anderson says, what's up to everybody? Michael Honeychuck says 1800. So 1800's a good one. I had one. We used to go to a Mexican restaurant, and he had just a whole bunch of them from straight from Mexico, and just all these. Some of them weren't even expensive. They just had a really good flavor to them. So he put me on to a bunch of cool stuff. I can't pronounce any of those names, so I'm not going to attempt to. But he put me on to some cool ones. Can't advertise that stuff on here, obviously. So I'll leave that one be as well. But there's plenty of them out there that are better than old Jose. I'll say that. Philip. Niners and the Bengals for the Super Bowl will be a cool throwback since the Bengals never beat the Niners in the Super Bowl. I agree, and hopefully if that happens, I hope it stays that way. Nothing against old Joe Burrow. He's a really cool story, and I think he's a great player. But if he's playing against my team, I'm not going to pull for him. Let's see here. Robin Marks, try brain surgery. That wasn't much fun either. I mean, in my case, they'd have to have something to operate on. So that might be a moot point for me. But yeah, that stinks for Kurt Busch. I really hope he can get better and get back to and just go out the way he wants to go out. I really hope it's not one of those deals where it just never gets completely right all the way. I think he'll be good for everyday life, but you know what I'm saying, to get cleared to race in a cup car, hopefully it's not that deal, because I really think he wants to go out and give the fans a good farewell, and hopefully he doesn't end up by not being able to do that. Did you see Joey Logano's leaked paint scheme today? One wise guy said, yeah, I did, and I like it to an extent, but it does need red numbers on it. So it would really look like Steve Park's old car if they put the red numbers on it. I saw it leaked yesterday without any context, and I still don't know that there's any context to it now, but I really would like to see red lettering on there, or at least red numbers, and possibly move that Pennzoil back a little bit, or just say Pennzoil across it and shrink that Pennzoil logo. But that big blank space at the back of the car, that needs to be filled in with, just write Pennzoil in there, and then do the little Pennzoil logo. I think that would make it look much better. But that being said, it might just be something that it might not even be all the way finished yet, because it looked unfinished. But I'm not a graphic designer, and I'm not trying to take anything away from whoever designed that one. Let's see. Dead End Viper says, "Are you going to be at Ace Speedway this year?" I am going to be at Ace Speedway this year, on the track in my car, for at least 3 or 4 races. I don't have enough funding to do the whole season, but I am going to make an attempt at 3 or 4 races this year. So hopefully that in the limited late models. So hopefully that goes really well, and we get some good results. Either way, we'll get some good footage and we'll have fun. If you want to sponsor me, I promise you I'll drive really slow so people can read the sponsor really good. I promise you that. So Ronnie Watkins says, I agree on the MC. Yeah, it just seems like a motorcycle club. Every time you see MC, maybe if they wrote Motor Club out instead of putting the MC on there, that would help. I don't know though. Chrome Diesel says the smallest spoiler seen in testing today looks like what the Gen 6 had at short tracks in RCs in the final years, and road courses in the final years. Yeah, and hopefully they go with that, because that's definitely going to make a big difference in the dirty air. The smaller the spoiler, probably the less the dirty air will be. So I think that's going to be a big help. At the very least, you'll be able to suck up to the back of the car and at least get it loose. That's another thing. So there will be hopefully easier passing. You won't get the dreaded arrow push every time you get behind somebody. LMC and Colleague will each have breakthrough seasons similar to 2311 and Trackhouse, says Mark Hunter. I agree with you 100% on that one. Motor Club sounds European or some F1 crap, says Jason Pons. Maybe. I don't know. I kind of like F1 crap, so I can't necessarily hate on that one. TJ Morshed says, who do you think will take the place? And obviously NASCAR is my favorite, but I think all of you know I pretty much like every motorsport. Who do you think will take the place of A-Shock on the number 9 car? I think Hooters should just up their deal to 2 more races. Like in a dream world, TJ, it would be Coors or Coors Light. But really, if you don't want to be a beverage sponsor on the best, on like the best or the not the best, but what is he always, he gets what every year, the most popular driver. Yeah, the most popular driver. If you don't want to be a beverage sponsor on the most popular driver, I don't get it. Like, I don't know. I feel like that moves pretty good amount of product. A-Shock, of course, I think just went under. I think it was a energy drink that didn't succeed. Delmar Kaufman says Legacy MC with Richard Petty. I agree. That's what I really thought they should have done. Legacy, hopefully they got time to go back and fix that. Legacy MC with Richard Petty would be awesome. Like that's actually what I'm gonna start calling it. We can get that trending, hopefully, and get them to change it. Not that anybody cares what I have to say about anything. Let's see here. We'll start a poll on that. There we go. And I probably just lost my spot. Hopefully I didn't. Let's see here. There we go. Jason Pond says, if you don't like engine noise, why are you at the racetrack? I agree with you, man. Like I don't get some of these arguments. Like they said back in the day, if the music's too loud, you're too old. I feel the same sentiment toward that one. Matt Hunter says, I'd like JJ's 84th win to occur at Michigan since he hasn't won there, preferably by outdueling the closer one last time. That would be a really cool way to do it. I'd like him to do it at Daytona and then immediately retire. I think that would be the coolest thing ever. But Michigan strong second in that particular. That would be pretty cool, especially if he's battling Harvick. Putting the mufflers, and what if Kurt Busch could come back by then and Kurt Busch was in the mix too? That would be a really cool deal. Putting the mufflers on the car so Mayor don't have to buy windows. I don't like to say her name because sometimes that gets your video in trouble. So yeah, that could be part of it too. Hacksaw Jim Thuggin, what's up, Hacksaw? Long time no see. What's up, my man? Good to see you on here, dude. Mickey Mouse had a club. Now so does Petty. Hey, there you go. That's pretty cool. The Petty Club. Which you could double entendre market that one, right? Welcome to the Petty Club, where we're super petty here. Cody Anderson, open up channel memberships so we can sponsor you, says Cody Anderson. Maybe. I don't know. I feel some kind of way about that. I don't know. Maybe if you're sponsoring me, I wouldn't feel as bad about it. I don't know. I don't know. I'll have to wrap my head around that one. But let's see. Every time I say that, I always cave in and do it anyway, though. So I'll think about that one. I don't know if I can open up channel memberships yet. I'll have to go look at that one. I think you have to hit a certain level. I don't know if I've hit that level yet. Also, so I'll have to look into that one. Cassandra Keller says, I did like the looks of that Logano car. Yeah, to me, it's just missing one little thing. It needs red numbers, and you need to put Pennzoil across it and shrink that logo so there's not so much blank space at the back of it. Eric Sipe says, as good as Todd Gordon is, the smartest thing LMC has done this offseason is secure Dave Ellens. I agree with that 100%. As crew chief of the 43 to do the next several years, Jones and Ellens can do great things together. I'm with you. I think if they stay together and Petty GMS continues, or I'm sorry, Legacy MC continues to grow, then they will be something to reckon with down the line, much like Trackhouse is right now. I think they're on a similar arc. They might not get there as fast, but I think they're on a very similar arc. Dead End Viper says, I'll buy you a set of tires for one race a day. So if you let me in the pits with you, come on down, man. That's an easy trade. Hacksaw Jim Thuggin, I'm going to call it Legacy and ignore the MC. Sound is bad. Yeah, Legacy is probably Legacy with Petty or Legacy MC with Petty. Like I don't know. It doesn't sound good though. I'm with you, man. Just calling it Legacy might be the deal, because every time I try to say Legacy MC, it's sort of back in the day. I don't know if any of you were watching back in the day, but back in the day, I used to have a terrible time with Matt DiBenedetto. there are so many outtakes, and I got rid of them, but I was going to do an outtake thing where I got so frustrated one day that I just let loose a bunch of F-bombs because I tried to say Matt DiBenedetto 6 different times and I couldn't do it. And I finally in that video ended up saying Matty D. And I was just so frustrated. On a 5-minute video, it took me about 30 minutes just to film 5 minutes of me talking because I couldn't say Matt DiBenedetto correctly. I couldn't do it that day, at least. Most days, honestly. And nothing against Matt DiBenedetto, but I was so happy when he left the Cup Series because I never had to say his name again because I'm typically at a racetrack on Fridays and Saturdays, and so I don't really get to cover the Truck Series in Xfinity. So I was like, oh man, he's gone from the Cup Series at least for a little while. I don't have to attempt to say his name anymore. And that's nothing against Matt DiBenedetto. I wish him the best, and I hope he does get back up the Cup. But selfishly, I was like, thank God I don't have to say his last name anymore. Danny Moore says JJ will not win this year. Sorry, with the cry face. Yeah, I mean, he probably won't, but it's going to be fun to see him attempt to. Sonny V says Petty Johnson Racing PJR would do it for me. That would be really cool for sure. That would be really cool. Mickey Logano says, I swear it sounds like when Petty GMS was deciding either a new name or a bunch of 100-year-old British golfers barged in and started beating everyone with their golf clubs. That might have been what happened. Mark Barnum says LM. Yeah, there you go. Legacy Motor Club. Just go LM. Team LM. And then they could do like a fake GM logo. LM. Just sort of put it in there. LM Goodwrench. One wise guy says, any word about the German team, 3F Racing? They're not going to be ready until they announced the race. I want to say like Atlanta or something like that. So they're on down the line, but they won't be at Daytona. But they're still trying. 3F is still a thing. Let's see here. They was beating something, says Danny Moore. Oh boy, not going to touch that one. LMC, a Long Motor Company, an aftermarket parts dealer. Oh yeah. LMC, they do truck parts. That's a big truck aftermarket truck part deal, especially if you got a square body. Square bodies are super popular around here right now. Like if you got a square body Chevrolet Silverado truck, they call them square bodies from like the 80s. I don't know, I forget. My friend's super into them. You got a gold mine if you got a short bed square body Chevrolet Silverado. TJ Morshed says A-Shock had the biggest caffeine dosage I've ever experienced in an energy drink. I don't feel bad that it went under. Yeah, I feel like some of that stuff's not necessarily as responsible as it could be. You know what I mean? So probably not the worst loss in the world. One wise guy says, do you think Todd Gordon and Jimmy Johnson can get a win this season? I do think they can get a win. And I actually think that Daytona is going to be one of the tracks that I would actually mark off, or any plate track that he's at, or what they call super speedways. We don't use plates anymore. But yeah, any track like that, I think he's got a really good chance. And then, of course, his classic tracks, he hasn't released the schedule yet, so I can't really say where I think he would have a good chance at. But any plate track, he's always been good at plate races. He's a winner wreck type of guy to plate race, though, that's for sure. I've always thought that the cruise lines need to sponsor cars. Most tracks are near ports, family friendly. Princess did that with Suarez, but only for a race or two. Could just be that I'm a travel agent. I think it would be a great fit. Like, if you think about it, and you look at all the RVs in NASCAR, a lot of NASCAR fans are traveling fans. They don't mind traveling, so I think that would be a perfect fit. And I do think that the Suarez Princess deal, if they had marketed it the right way, I think that definitely could have been a really big one. And I think they're still probably hooked up together. But I agree with you. I would not be surprised to see a few more throw their hat in the ring and try that one, because it seems like a market that works well, just like camping with NASCAR is a market that works really well. So I do see that one as one that crosses over pretty easily. Hacksaw says, I've been watching brother, just can't respond at work. I got you, man. I hope you've been doing well, my man. I hope you have been too. I was wondering, man. I'm glad to know you're doing good, man. So I understand not being able to respond at work. Back in the day, I used to listen to the Dan Patrick Show. I was in between jobs, and I was working third shift, so I used to wake up in the morning and watch the old Dan Patrick Show, or I guess stay up technically before I went to sleep, watch the Dan Patrick Show, and then go to sleep at noon. So yeah, but then when I had to go to work, I was trying to listen to it at work, and it just became a thing. So like, I just appreciate the effort of you watching. So I appreciate that, man. Good to know you're doing good still, man. Cassandra Keller, Hacksaw Jim Thuggin, back in the day, he was like when I had 5 or 6 subscribers. He was one of the 5 or 6. So we go back a little ways there. Let's see here. Cassandra Keller says, "Go Jones." Eric Jones is definitely I think he's going to have a really good season and have a chance to have a good season. Let's see here. Chad Huffman, I thought these cars sounded louder when I was at Daytona last year. Glad to know that I wasn't imagining it. They might have been a little bit louder, but I don't think it's going to be significant. Somebody said if they hadn't have told you about it, you probably wouldn't have noticed. So I don't think it's going to be a huge dip, but it probably will be just a little bit. And I remember when these cars came out, everybody's like, this tone on this one just sounds completely different or something like that. I never really saw a big difference in how they sounded. I guess tonality wise, I don't know. And maybe it could be one of those deals where I'm used to late models. So I don't know. Also, when I do the air pressure for the tires a lot of times. So sometimes I have that muffler right beside my ear. So I'm not as in love with the sound as some other people. So that's part of it too. Mickey Logano says they should have just called Legacy Motorsports. Yeah, that would be good too. Like the Motor Club is what throws me off. Like anytime you got club, I just think motorcycles. Because that's most motorcycles will say we're a motorcycle club, and if you call them a motorcycle gang, they get super not happy about that. So don't call them a motorcycle gang, call them a motorcycle club. First off, so clear that one up. But yeah, anytime I see club, I don't think race cars. You know, anytime I see motor and club, I think motorcycle. So the MC is just I don't know. Hopefully they figure something out and they put Petty at the end of it. 62% agreeing that with Richard Petty would be a good name or just a good addendum to add to it. So Eric to the 43 was without a question the steal of the 2020 offseason, a fantastic fit, says Mac Hunter. And 100% I agree with that. Eric Jones was underrated. He was in a lot of ways, I guess, at Toyota in retrospect underappreciated. So I don't know. I just feel like when Richard Petty, like I was, we got rid of Bubba Wallace, and I was like, where's the sponsorship going to come from? So that was my first concern, and I was just hoping the team didn't go under at the time. Then they signed Eric Jones, and I was like, well, we got a really good race car driver. If we get the right funding, he'll do enough in that race car to, continue to get us funding. So there were several reasons that I was like, good, thank goodness Eric Jones, was landed with Petty, because that more or less kind of saved Petty Motorsports. Then GMS came in and it just became what it was. But that he was without I didn't necessarily see him going to Petty. I thought Rick Hendrick would grab him or somebody like that. But the fact that Richard Petty was able to grab him, that was the biggest steal. I agree with you. You got him for pennies on the whatever. So it is what it is. Let's see here. Mark Barnes says I have a square body S10 91 4x4. Those square body S10s are going pretty good right now too. For whatever reason, that square body look is in. You see the Deegan video about practicing the rain at 170 miles per hour. I have not seen that one yet. I have not seen anything Haley Deegan. A lot of stuff in my inbox about I need to go check out Haley Deegan's channel. So I don't know. I don't know what's going on with Haley Deegan, but I'm gonna check it out after this live stream is over. Mark Barnum says third generation Broncos are big money too, or first generation Broncos are big money too. I've liked just about every Bronco they've had, except the one that looked exactly like a Ford Ranger with a cab on it. I've liked even the one that OJ did the low speed pursuit. I like that one too. Let's see. That's just the best way I know to describe that Bronco. But yeah, the first generation Bronco is definitely a big money getter. And there's also International made something that sort of looked like it as well. International Cub or something like that. That's a big money getter as well. That was a minute, Hacksaw. My daughter just grabbed my phone. Oh no. Bumblebee says, I'm sorry. Cody says, hi, Bumblebee 48. Hello, Cody. Let's see here. Next gen cup cars sound very similar to modifieds, in my opinion. Music to my ears. So yeah, I agree. The next gen cars do sound really good. That was one concern I did have when they were talking about changing the exhaust or whatever. So at least it does sound good. Let's see. Robin Mark says, I've never been impressed with the noise, probably due to being on tractors. They lost their muffler, giving me headaches. Yeah, so I bought a Camaro Z28 in Delaware and drove it all the way back. And it had no radio, and and it had a MagnaFlow exhaust. By the time I got back to North Carolina from Delaware and hearing nothing but that exhaust, I was over it. I was over it for the rest of my life after that. So, but it is cool that you can put on headphones and you can still feel the race cars going by. So it is cool from a perspective. But certain experiences in my life, and also working with late models, I'm kind of over the sound at this point. But that being said, when I was just a fan, the sound was always a big deal. Even when Chuck Liddell came to be the master of ceremonies at Daytona, that was one of the big things he said. He said, "I can't wait for him to fire it up. I just want to hear the sound. I'm ready for it to be loud." So it is a great big part of it, and they definitely have to keep that, in my opinion. They could have named it Petty's Gentleman Club. That's kind of what the logo looks like, to be 100% honest. Bumblebee, appreciate the $5 holler. Says, I want to apologize to Hacksaw for hiding him. Kaylee grabbed my phone and was hitting buttons left and right. I feel bad about that. So Hacksaw, if you're still watching, man, apologize about that. That was a mistake. Her daughter grabbed her phone. That wasn't anything you said or did. We apologize for that. It's all good. Stuff happens. So you're all good, Hacksaw. Fire away. I was able to unhide him. I caught it. Says Bumblebee. So all right, there we go. Hacksaw, you are able to be seen now, my friend. Eric Sipe says, say what you want about the name Legacy Motor Club. We're talking about it, aren't we? Seems like it's working. Just saying. Oh yeah. I mean, I'll put it this way. I've heard worse names in the world. I'm just not a big fan of that one. That being said, I would like to see Petty in it somewhere. It could be better, but at the end of the day, we're NASCAR fans. We gotta cry and whine about something, right? So that's what we do. Let's see here. We're gonna end this poll. Looks like yeses won that one on a 60%. 60% yes. Add Petty to the name. Let's see here. Mark Barnum says International Scout. So yeah, International Scout. Whenever they got rid of Gas Monkey Garage, that the Adam dude, the fabricator guy, I guess, or whatever, he went out and did his own show. He got an International Scout and he jazzed that thing up and made it look really good. And that was literally the first one I'd ever seen, and those things look pretty cool. So if you can find one, plenty of money, even in bad condition, people pay good money for them. Matt Hunter says, big shout out to Molten Roofer and Stupid Rage, says Matt Hunter. So what's up, guys? As far as that goes, Mickey Logano, do you think there will be a big three this year in the Cup Series? And if so, who? I think it would be Elliott Larson and either Kyle Busch or Joey Logano. I agree with all those. I think all those guys are in their prime or at the very end of it, or right at the edge of it, one way or the beginning or edge of it, either way you want to call it. Those are always going to be my four picks though right now, because Kyle Larson and Chase Elliott definitely in their prime. Joey Logano 100% in his prime, and whoever else you want to throw in there, like Kyle Busch, definitely, in my opinion, still in his prime, and I think he's going to have a heck of a season this year. Kevin Harvick has never come out of his prime. He hit his really good level and really has never come off of it. Sometimes the equipment isn't there, but he's never had just a terrible, no good, very bad season, right? Like he's always like in the top 10 in points, it seems like. So work in whoever you want to. At some point, yeah, like Tyler Reddick kind of broke out last year. Does he break out some more? Ross Chastain kind of broke out last year. So there's some other guys that could join that mix and start being in their prime as well. Aaron Flynn says, we used to run mufflers on a particular motor for a little back pressure. Yeah, there's all kinds of stuff you can do to improve it. An engine is nothing but basically a really fancy air moving machine, right? So any way you can move that air faster is always going to help. So air vacuum or whatever you want to call it, I guess. So let's see here. Mickey Logano says, I was hoping the electric series would happen so it could be its own series and not alienate the top three series. I think it's still going to be its own thing. I think they're going to keep it completely separate. JD Mayo says, I just got home from work. What's up, everyone? What's up, JD Mayo? But yeah, I think the electric thing will be completely separate and all that good stuff. no doubt. Hendrick grabbed McDowell's crew chief. They're grabbing McDowell next to drive the 48s. McDowell needs a top tier ride. I agree with that. And if Bowman flops this year, who knows? Yeah, so one thing that's consistent about Alex Bowman, he's always on the hot seat for some reason. I don't know what else you can do if you're Alex Bowman other than win a championship to get off the hot seat. But it seems like every year it's like Alex Bowman is on the hot seat, and I just don't understand it. I don't understand why. So it's just one of those deals, man. Why is Alex Bowman always on the hot seat? Like, how many races does the guy got to win? But that being said, your second point, McDowell does need a top tier ride. I think he kind of wants to stay where he's at. I think he's going to go sort of a much slower process, but I feel like he wants to go a Mark Martin route where Mark Martin built Roush Racing. I think Michael McDowell wants to be the guy that builds Front Row Motorsports. Obviously, he's not going to have the wins that Mark Martin got, but I think Michael McDowell wants to stay there and build that. And obviously, in this day and age, you unless you're Trackhouse, you really can't build a program as fast as they could back in the day. Bumblebee says, JD, what's up? Let's see. Bumblebee says Brad's still in his prime too. Just needs to get that 6 car up to the top level. Yeah, so Brad Keselowski definitely still in his prime. And the other thing I'll say about Brad Keselowski, I wanted to mention it here. He did a really cool thing. RFK did a really cool thing. If you watch the Phoenix, or you might have just seen it on Twitter or wherever you follow your social media, but he did a tribute to Ken Block. Was the wrap they did for the Phoenix test, and that thing looks amazing. Really, really cool. And I was inspired by that because, like I said in the video about Ken Block, I never realized how much the guy affected my life. I'm a huge Ken Block fan and always will be, and that guy will live on forever just because of all the good things he did and all the joy he brought to people. But RFK doing that tribute to him, I think, was really cool, and it actually inspired me. So I changed the Bologna Burger banner on the YouTube channel. I don't know if any of you have ever even seen it, but I changed the Bologna Burger banner, and I sort of did a tribute or a themed tribute to Ken Block. If you remember the little Escort that he drove, I sort of did a tribute to the hood of that one, and then I did a black, white, and gold for the original colors of the Unicorn. So that's what that's why I changed the banner. I was inspired by RFK. So rest in peace to Ken Block. Just a really cool deal. From Brad K and RFK and all the guys over there. That was a really cool deal. TJ Moorshed says, Diecast Talk, 124th prices need to go down $10 to $15. I agree with you 100%, especially for the non-special ones. Like if you get the elites and stuff like that. But I mean, come on, these regular, just the regular diecast they're swinging. They gotta go. They gotta go 100%. I was trying to read that, Bumblebee, and you deleted it. Let's see here. Chrome Diesel. She deleted her own comment there. I was just joking with her. Darian made a F1 bus video about Mayspin, even speak 2 languages. One of them is Mayspin's native language. He's the worst driver I've seen from my parents' home country. Yeah. I mean, I can't disagree with any of that. And he also seems like kind of a dick, to be totally honest with you. I don't know the guy personally, but he just does not come off as a cool guy, like a nice guy at all. He just kind of comes off as a rich brat, and I don't think F1 lost anything when he got booted from that ride, 100%. Yeah, that's cool that you speak 2 languages. I have never even looked at Russian. It looks like the weird. Their characters for their language just looks really weird. I can't even wrap my head around that. But yeah, that's really cool. And I'm just assuming you're speaking Russian because I think he's from Russia, but I'm not 100% sure. Let's see. Sonny V says Scout TV commercials was Tonto saying "Get him up, Scout." The name of his horse in the series. Okay, so I didn't know that. I knew the Lone Ranger was Hi-Ho Silver, but I never knew. Well, I did probably at the time, but I never remembered Tonto's was called Scout. Okay, so Scout and Silver, that's pretty cool. We're learning something new every day. So if you don't know what the Lone Ranger is, it's not the movie with Johnny Depp, although the Johnny Depp movie was kind of funny or had some hilarious moments in it. But the Lone Ranger is an old school TV show, really, really cool, really good show back in the day. Did Denny Hamlin podcast come out yet with Dale Jr.? Says JD Mayo. If it has, I haven't seen it. they said when they're going to do the first one, but I haven't seen it yet. Dale Jr. said he's 2 weeks away, I guess, from doing the next Dale Jr. download. So 2 weeks away for Junior, looks like. Let's see here. How about SHR Xfinity driver Rick Ware Racing and Cup? You talking about Riley Herbst? Riley Herbst is rumored to go into the 15 car, but I haven't seen anything official on that. It just seems to be like an internet rumor. That being said, sometimes internet rumors are true, as we found out firsthand here. So yeah, I think Riley Herbst will probably drive the 15 for Rick Ware Racing. What I want to see is it going to be a 15 like David Reagan was driving? Is it going to be a 15 like Ryan Preece was driving? Is it going to be the top-notch Stuart Haas equipment? Or is it going to be just another Rick Ware car? That's remaining to be seen. I know Riley Herbst brings good funding with him, so I would imagine it's going to be a Stuart Haas Racing Rick Ware car. So that's actually what I would look out for as far as that goes. It was about the Ken Block scheme, says Bumblebee. So, oh yeah, I was just picking at you. I saw Ken Block in it. That's why I was just picking at you. No big deal. Chrome Diesel says compared to other Russian F1 drivers prior, Mayspin is just so rude. Yeah, and that's sort of like where I land on it. I don't even follow like F1 super close. But for whatever reason, like I go to Twitter to look for NASCAR news, and I really don't like to be on Twitter too often because that can be a negative place as well. But for whatever reason, I was looking up racing news one day on Twitter, and his name kept popping up, and I was like, why does this dude's name keep popping up? Because at the time he wasn't even an F1 driver, so he's done his fair share of alleged in that particular situation, alleged bad deeds. And after I saw what that controversy was about, to me, there was no recovering from that, in my opinion. So after I saw that, I was like, this guy, he's no good, and I was really bummed out that he went to Haas. Then he went to Haas, and I was like, well, great, now he's the Haas driver, and even more bummed out I was because basically he took K-Mag's seat. So K-Mag was kicked out for him, and then they put Schumacher's son in the other car. So I lost my favorite Haas driver is K-Mag. I was like, man, now we lost K-Mag for this D-bag. I don't have anything nice to say about him, and I'm just trying to be polite. But I'm glad you feel the same way, Chrome Diesel. And it stinks. I know where you're coming from. It stinks that he is a representative of that country. You wish you could pawn him off on another country and be like, that's not how we are over here. I understand 100% where you're coming from. And what you're saying. So yeah, and I do agree with you. He's kind of a D-bag. So let's see here. Delmar Kaufman says, I've seen Natalie Decker has a big announcement tomorrow. We'll see what she has to say. We'll see what she's got to say. That's all I can say. I don't know what she's going to announce. Let's see. Decker is more suited to be a cam model on MFC. So a lot of people have said she has like what do they call it? An OF account. I guess we can put it like that way. I don't know. I didn't delve into that. That's something I really don't care about. Make your money however you're going to make your money. That's none of my business. But so I was told after that video that a lot of people don't like her because of that. Now, I don't even know if that's true, and I'm not going to investigate it. I'm not going to bother with that because I don't want any viruses on my phone. So I'm not going to check that one out, or a computer, either way. So I'm going to avoid that. So that can remain to be true or untrue. This is going to fall into the I don't care category for old Decker there. If Jimmy Johnson can be humble with all of his success, then nobody has an excuse to be a donkey. So there you go. I agree with that 100%. Jimmy Johnson, at least in public, I've never met him, but in private or anything like that. But and some people I know that have met him, he's pretty laid back, pretty cool dude. Just very humble with all of his success. And you see some people that don't have any success. In this case, we're talking about Mayspin, and they're not humble, and it's just very interesting. It's an interesting dichotomy of humanity. So let's see. Big words for me. Ronnie Checker says, doesn't matter how bad the name Legacy MC is, almost make it iconic if they are successful. Yeah, I mean the colors are great. I like the colors. The gold and the black, chef's kiss. Those are the same colors I use on my car, so I'm partial to that. The MC part is the only hang up for me, but other than that, If they would just spell it all the way out and stop putting MC, that would probably help quite a bit. Just Legacy Club to me would be better, but either way, Legacy Club by itself would just be better. But that being said, let me finish a comment here. MC make it iconic if they're successful. It's easy for us to shake our heads, I think, because it's RPM. But if they compete with the name Legacy, MC sticks. Yeah, winning fixes everything, right? As long as you win, you get more leeway in every single thing you do. So it is what it is. Mickey Logano says, I feel like everyone was a little too harsh on Mick Schumacher in 2022. I mean, he is a Haas car, for God's sake, says Mickey Logano. Yeah, I'm not being hard on Mick Schumacher. I was just bummed out. I was talking about Mayspin. Mayspin being there. I feel like you could have got rid of Mayspin. I know he was a funding driver, but if you got rid of Mayspin and you had K-Mag there, K-Mag probably would have helped Mick Schumacher. And eventually you got that rotation, that lineup anyway. But if they had a full season together, I think K-Mag would have definitely, obviously, he would have helped more than Mayspin. But I think K-Mag would have helped Schumacher get further along in his career than the time he spent with Mayspin. So it is what it is, though. Sometimes you need a funding driver, and that's what they went for. But yeah, Mick Schumacher still has a future in that sport, so I'm not throwing any shade at him. I was a big Michael Schumacher fan too, so I mean, as a Ferrari guy, Schumacher pretty much was the man. Let's see, until and he was the man until Lewis Hamilton came along. Bumblebee says, as a woman, let me say, it sucks to be a woman in NASCAR. LOL. Yeah, I mean, I agree with you there 100%. And that's what that was. If you just want to condense that whole video down to one thing, I think the messenger in that particular situation overshadowed the message. It wouldn't have mattered if she had the best point in the world. And I think she did have a point. I just think her point, the point she was making, was more about sponsors and not NASCAR. But in that particular situation, because of who it is, nobody wanted to listen to it because she just has not a whole lot of fans. Like, a lot of people just really hate on Natalie Decker. So it was a situation where the messenger overshadowed the message. So that was the whole point of that video. I know it was a long one. So Chrome Diesel says Petrov and Kvyat are far better of the Russian race car drivers. Kvyat even came here at NASCAR. I remember when he ran that at the Cup Series. Can't really say anything about it because it's one of in some of the worst equipment. Oh yeah. He was not in a good car, but he came over here and showed something. He probably had the best finish in that car of anybody that drove it, I would imagine. Until I think he had trouble that race, but he was running fair for that equipment, in my opinion. And he can get it done. I mean, you've seen it over there in the F1 world. He can get things done. Mark Martin says, which NBC? I wish NBC would get their head out of the dark and put the Michelin Challenge on regular TV this Friday. Yeah, the vast majority of that race is going to happen apparently off of TV. A lot of it's going to be streaming. Breaking news, I will not have to worry about TV because I will be down there watching it live. And I've got a little, I don't know if it's going to work, but some of the new equipment I've got a Wi-Fi thing that you pay for. So I've got 5 days of Wi-Fi. So I'm going to try to live stream from either where I'm sitting or from my car on Sunday to do the live stream there on Sunday. And that one's going to start early because I do want to see the end of the race. So I'll probably start that one a little bit earlier. So the Sunday live stream, if it happens, is going to be a little bit earlier than normal, and it might be live from my car on my laptop. But we'll try to get it figured out. But yeah, I'll be at the 24 hours. So if you're a Florida man or if you're in town for the 24 hours, come find me. I will be down there. Come say what's up. Let's see here. Old Home Guy says Remy Brothers Racing to Ford Trucks. Yeah, that makes sense. The Remy Brothers. They've been a Ford affiliate. Hopefully they can get a full season going in the Truck Series as well. I feel like they were part-time last year, but I could be wrong. Mick could replace 5 drivers right now in F1, maybe 4, says Ronnie Checkers. That's probably a fair statement. Some of those pay drivers haven't shown anything. Let's just be honest. And I'm a F1 casual, and I know that. So if I know that, you know. Chrome Diesel, Kvyat at Xfinity, though, able to bring a top 15 at the Roval last year for Sam Hunt Racing. Yeah, so he's one of those guys that we've talked about on the show. Some guys can get in any type of automobile and or race car and be good. Some people they're only good at one particular discipline of motorsport. Daniel Kvyat is definitely, and I'm not saying his name right. I'm Kvyat. I'm probably not saying his name right, but I'm doing my best. But yeah, he's definitely one of those guys that he seems like anything he gets in, he goes pretty fast. Aaron Armstrong says, "What's up, BB? You guys hear about Damar Hamlin body double conspiracy? Crazy stuff. Haven't heard about that one. But no matter who was out there, didn't help them that game, unfortunately. It sucks that the Bills didn't make it any further than they did, but it is what it is. Say Kyle, not Cal. I don't understand how Decker didn't ask a PR rep, hey, should I post this? I agree with you, especially for somebody as savvy at social media as she is. And that's why I'm saying I think she must have really felt some kind of way to post that because she's not a social media. You can say what you want to about her, but she knows her social media, right? So I feel like she just felt like she had something to say, and she said it. I just don't. Unfortunately, I don't think she really meant NASCAR so much as she meant sponsors are saying the sponsors are hyping up the future is female, but then when it comes time to sponsor a female, they're not sponsoring them. That in my opinion, I think that's what she actually meant. So yeah, I agree. Like good Lord, even my coworkers proofread insignificant emails to clients that won't mean a thing. LOL. Yeah, I think she knew exactly what she was doing, and I think she even knew she was going to have to take it down. But I think she made the point she wanted to make. And once again, unfortunately, because of the messenger, I think a lot of people are going to miss the message. And really, I wish she hadn't have said NASCAR as well. I wish she should have said sponsors because I'm pretty sure that's what she meant. Danny Price says, hey, Baloney from Halifax, Nova Scotia again. What's up, Nova Scotia? What's up, Canada? And what's up, Danny? Good to have you on here, buddy. Cassandra Keller says, thanks for the heads up for us West Coast folks. Yep, sorry, Cassandra. I got to see the Cassandra. I got to see the end of that race. So it's going to be a little bit earlier. But that being said, if you can always just watch the replay because it'll post after it goes live. So no need to wake yourself up super early to catch that one. And also, I don't know how long or how good the Wi-Fi is going to be. If it was as good as the Wi-Fi at Phoenix, we could stream all day because the Wi-Fi at Phoenix, if I had the Wi-Fi that they had at Phoenix, I could make so many more videos because it only took me like 10 or 5 or 10 minutes to upload that video when I did the one from Phoenix. Like it was so fast. I was so jealous of Phoenix's. I'm gonna get a van and live in the parking lot of Phoenix International Raceway just so I can upload videos faster live from the van. And that is foreshadowing. I am getting a van, by the way. Unfortunately, my house broke, and that put the plans for that off. So there will hopefully be some more traveling in the future here. Did you see Logano's new scheme for the LA Clash? Are you talking about the white one, JD, or are you talking about the yellow Pennzoil one? I've seen both of them. The white one for the Clash looks really good, or it might have been for Auto Club, but they both look good. Let's see here. I think based off Haley Deegan's SRX, and as much as I like TJ, he talks to her on the radio like a child. Her best chance is to let her go balls to the wall and hit your marks and drop the hammer, says Ronnie Checkers. I agree. Something's not translating 100%. She can definitely, in my opinion, she definitely wheels a car better than a truck. I'm definitely in that camp. But that being said, she was not in elite truck equipment either. So it is what it is. One wise guy says, I appreciate the later streams, the last couple Sundays. Thank you from a Californian. Yeah, I'm gonna try to skew them later for the West Coast in the future. But the Daytona one this Sunday, if I'm able to make it happen, which I'm really gonna try, and I am gonna try to make it happen. But it's gonna be an earlier one because I want to watch the end of the 24-hour race. So that's gonna be an early one. Unfortunately, but we'll try to get them. We'll try to make them West Coast friendly from here on out. Danny Price says Mick couldn't prove anything in that Haas car. I don't think anybody could prove anything in that Haas car because even when K-Mag was giving them good runs, they always broke. So I don't think it would have mattered who was in the thing because they just had so many DNFs last year. Danny Price says, dang it, my Cowboys lost. I hate that your Cowboys lost, but I don't hate it as much as I could because I am a 49ers fan. But they gave us everything we wanted and more. I'll tell you that. I think Decker was having a drunk moment when posting that. Could be Mark Barnum. You never know. race car drivers are people too. We all have bad days, right? So that could be part of it. Appreciate it, Uncle Bones, Ronnie Checkers. I appreciate it. With the super chat shout outs. I appreciate it, guys. Thank you. That will go straight to the Yugo car, the Yugo project we're doing, which is going to be a Fiat and Yugo, basically the same thing. Always have been, always will be. Let's see here. Bo Darvel says, I'm late, and someone may have said this, but Decker should realize that NASCAR would absolutely love her to be great. I agree with that. She could get sponsors with any good results. Also, she is smoking hot, says Bo Darvel. So there you go. He's chiming in with his thoughts. Yeah, if she got results, I think even the sponsor thing wouldn't be an issue. But I think that the point she's making is you see all these sponsors, all the future's female, we're all for women. And then when it comes time to pony up money to sponsor a woman, to give a woman a chance, where are these sponsors at? I think from that perspective, she does have a point. Unfortunately, like I said, it's the messenger. Because she's the messenger, a lot of people are not going to listen to the message. So because she, for whatever reason, she just has a lot of people that don't like her. Cassandra Keller says, I would do the same. I am up anyway. Okay, all good. I appreciate it. But I will try to skew it later for the West Coast. JD Mayo says yellow with black stripes. Yeah. So as far as that one goes, JD Mayo, what I was saying about it earlier, it needs red on the numbers like Steve Park's car. Then you'd have something. And also shrink that logo and then put Pennzoil across the back to fill in all that blank yellow space on the back. But if they did those two things, they'd have something then, in my opinion. Say Kyle, not Cal. I'm on the East Coast time and still don't wake up early enough for the Sunday stream, says say Kyle, not Cal. I understand, brother. That third shift is rough. Third shift on the weekends, I got you. It's rough. I was a third shift man all through my 20s as well, and it wasn't a third shift job. Just it's hard going to the clubs, man. Jacques Villeneuve won the F1 championship in his second year, battling Michael Schumacher for the lead. Schumacher wrecked him by running the car into him. Then the FIA then disqualified Schumacher. Yeah, which is ironic given Jacques' history, right? Now Jacques Villeneuve is known as the guy that sort of drives aggressively, right? So that's pretty funny about that. Let's see here. Aaron Flynn, it was a D-stroke 350 with a Chevy 302 parts and a set of heads that had been worked more than they should have. High RPM motor, pass tech every time with a cheated carburetor. The air was flowing. Yeah, that's one way of going about it. So back in the day, one of the things they used to do, they used to hog out the motors, get a bigger displacement, and then they would put paraffin on. There was always one cylinder that they checked, and whatever reason, they never checked a different cylinder. So they would put the little thing where you check the depth of the cylinder bore, and they would have paraffin around it. And after they checked it, they would check the depth of the paraffin or the width of the paraffin, and then they pulled it up, and they were good to go. And then of course the paraffin would melt away during the race without hurting the motor. So that's how a lot of people got by with the stroked motors back in the day. Hopefully I explained that properly. I don't know. I was sort of rambling. Ronnie Checkers, and I know a lot of people, I might have lost them just talking about it, period. Ronnie Checkers, I could drive that Haas car. If I could figure out how to get it in gear and get it off the grid, we'd be in business then, because after that I'd just be switching the gears. They do seem to be a little bit of a pain in the butt to get going though. Danny Price says you can only make a boat anchor go so fast, as well as a Haas boat anchor. That's a fair statement. Ronnie Checkers says, what state, Baloney? I'm in North Carolina right now. But I will be in Florida. I'll be Florida man this weekend. Starting I guess Friday. I guess I'll leave Friday. I was Thursday morning, but I'm thinking I'm gonna push it more toward Friday. Save some coin. Mick Logano says, I think Deegan is just not a truck series material, judging off for K&N days, SRX, and Xfinity debut. Also, the trucks is a dumpster fire with no respect. Yeah, she doesn't qualify well in trucks, and when you don't qualify well in trucks, you're back there with the guys that just race with little to no respect, and that's been a big part of the problem. But she's definitely shown she's much more adept at driving cars. That being said, she's in championship level trucks this year. I really expect her to do well in the trucks this year. I don't think it's a driving thing so much as where she was qualifying. Uncle Bones 2 says, ain't much, but it is something. P.S. I like Natalie Decker. Yeah, like a lot of people don't. A lot of people do. And unfortunately, I just feel like the messenger on that particular deal overshadowed the message. I don't know why she gets so much hate. Like a lot of people were trying to tell me in the comments, but like I don't know. Like I just don't know. She doesn't bother me, but obviously she makes a lot of people feel some kind of way, and not all the time some kind of way in a good way. So some people she does make feel some kind of way in a good way though. So let's see. She's off the market though, so unfortunately, if she makes you feel some kind of way in a good way, she is off the market. She did get engaged the other day. Old Home Guy says, smoking the 9,000 subscribers here. If you haven't yet, subscribe. It's free. I appreciate it, Old Home Guy. Yeah, if you'd like to subscribe, I would really appreciate it. It does help out the channel quite a bit, and I appreciate y'all that are already subscribed as well. You guys know that. Chrome Diesel says, you weren't saying his last name right. Think about the boat yacht, then put a KV. Kivat. Daniel Kivat. That's as good as I'm gonna get, I think. I'll have to watch another F1 race and sort of copy how they say it. Let's see here. F1 announcers pretty much say it like that. I got you. I'll try that from here on out. Yeah, like I said, I don't speak any Russian. I speak a very very small amount of Norwegian, so Bokmal Norwegian, but even that stuff, I more read it than actually pronounce it properly. I've probably got the weirdest Norwegian accent when I'm actually trying to speak Norwegian, so I don't speak it often, but I can read it pretty good. At least elementary level Norwegian. Exalta should make their primary similar to Gordon's DuPont flame scheme for Byron. They did that for a while. They did it one time last year too, as well. They brought the flames back. What I really want to see them bring back is just bring back the rainbow car. I liked it pretty good. Let's see here. Say Kyle Cow is a 24 fan. I'd lose my mind with excitement if they did that, Mickey. There you go. Like I said, I'd like to see the rainbow. We've done that poll on here before. It always goes close to 50-50, 50% rainbow, 50% flames. But what if those were the only two schemes he ran next year? That would be really cool, huh? The flames and the rainbow flames. Danny Price says Jacques would have won his first year, but it was stolen from him. If you think he's aggressive, you should watch the footage of his dad. No doubt, I heard his dad was wide open all the time, so he got it honest. Let's see here. Ronnie Checkers, did anyone else grow up watching Tommy Kendall and Davy Jones race in IMSA? I remember Tommy Kendall, but by the time I came around, it was Scott Pruitt, Tommy Kendall, and Willie T. Ribbs and Wally Dallenbach. Those were sort of the ones I grew up with, and the Duracell Camaro and the Hot Wheels Camaro, that sort of that generation. They won't though. Exalta is using their races up to prop up Raptor, so that's true. Raptor seems to be the primary. Bo Darville says Gordon may have had the best collection of paint schemes ever. Lots of awesome. Yeah, he's up there for sure. I put Darrell Waltrip in that mix too. There's a few of them. Mark Martin never really had a really bad scheme, in my opinion. Danny Price says I'm going to say Red Bull will win F1 again, but I don't like Max. I like Mad Max. I like the way he drives. He's sort of in the Kyle Busch category of sometimes you don't want him to open his mouth, but I do like the way he drives. He sort of hangs them out there. He's fun to watch. Lewis Hamilton was by far the man, but I feel like Max Verstappen is now coming to his own. But I think Lewis Hamilton still has something for him. Going to be fun to watch next season. Danny Price, I was on a race team here. We were a road racing car. We ran a couple of events in the old IMSA series. Oh, that's pretty cool, man. I do remember some of those old IMSA cars. Like they actually IMSA back in the day, the Trans Am series, at least for IMSA, you could actually get those cars in a McDonald's Happy Meal as a Hot Wheels car, because I got the Hot Wheels Camaro and I got the Duracell yellow Camaro. I remember those back in the day. And I was super stoked because you could watch them on Speed TV or whatever they came on back then, and it was just awesome. TNN, whatever was covering it. Rhodes and Deegan are teammates this weekend at IMSA. Glad to see her bonding with her truck teammates. Yeah, I think she's going to have a good effort over there for Thor Sport. Ronnie Checker says F1 here. I take my wife and daughters to Daytona season finale every year, sometimes Bristol and Darlington. That's pretty cool. I kind of like all motorsports, just like you're saying. So I try to get to as many of them as I can. Bumblebee says it's pronounced Daniel Fiat. So Fiat. Trying. Cassandra Keller says y'all speak Southern. Yeah, that's 100% what I speak. And I made it worse back in the day when I moved to the mountains. I was picking on sort of the mountain accent, then it stuck. I shared this story with somebody. Yeah, I'm not going to share it on here though. But I made mine worse by picking on people, so that's karma coming on me. So now my voice is super country from my own doing, and that's my fault. So that's on me. Ronnie Checker says Natalie Decker seems like a great person, good attitude, but the reality is she's not talented at this point at the NASCAR level. Says Ronnie Checkers. I mean, it happens. We see tons of people like that. Hope you have a safe trip to Florida, BB. Stay near a TV and root for our Niners on Sunday, says Dustin Walker. I'll probably catch that race. I mean, I'll probably catch that football game. I'll probably stop off, and get some food and watch that one at a Applebee's with Mike Harmon or something like that. But I'll definitely try to catch that game while it's happening. The 24 Flames was awesome at Darlington. Hated to see Joey plow through him. But you know what? At least you got a good finish in that 24 Flame car. And to be fair, he plowed through Joey first. Joey just plowed. Joey just hit harder back the second time, which is racing. I didn't have a problem with it. Bumblebee, as someone who knows and speaks Russian, to me, it's interesting to see when they say someone's name or word close to me correctly. I promise I'm not going to get anywhere near correctly. I don't speak any Russian. I can read a little German too, because the machines I used to work on at the factory were in German. So I can, in German, there's a lot of cognates in German to English. So that one's not too bad. Ronnie Checker says, I love Willie T. I had higher hopes in SRX, to be honest. Yeah, he just passed his prime, and I don't think he had the desire to be good at SRX. But he did stay part of it. I'm glad he stayed part of the commentating crew down in the pits, because he definitely has personality to offer. That's 100% sure. I agree with you there, Ronnie Checkers. Mark Warner says Raptor is a Ford. What is Hendrick thinking? LOL. I don't know. They're probably thinking just give us the money and we'll stick whatever on the car that NASCAR allows us, as long as you pay us. Rainbow car was nice. Talking infringement of the rules according to Ray Heffernham, old home guy. Yeah, so basically the rainbow car was always illegal, no doubt about that. Bumblebee says, thanks, I tried. Talking to Chrome Diesel. So there you go. We're going to have Bumblebee speaking Russian here in no time. No time at all. Ronnie Checkers says, Max will rattle off 8 in a row and retire. Heard it here first. He might. The only problem Max is going to have is there's a young up-and-comer over there at Ferrari named Charles Leclerc, and I think he's going to be a problem. TJ Moorshed said, as a Gordon fan, I favor a lot of Kevin Harvick schemes. Love the Busch Light Apple car, being from New England. Yeah, that Busch Light Apple car is one of the best ones. Kevin Harvick's never had a bad scheme either. No doubt about that. He's definitely on that list and in that mix. He had a red flame-licked, it's called the flame-licked Goodwrench car. He ran it in the 2003 Daytona Busch Clash. That's probably my favorite Kevin Harvick car of all time. That thing just looked mean. It was basically where the black was on his black car. It was red. It was pretty mean. Mark Wachowski says, Natalie Decker, Haley Deegan, and Danica Patrick are given a hard time. They made it to the top 3 tiers of NASCAR, and that should speak for itself. So I'm with you there, Mark. I think if you put them against a lot of these people talking trash about them, they would probably run circles around a lot of the people talking junk about them. That's why I never take away from their talent. And I say this all the time: just because somebody is not a cup level talent doesn't mean they're not a talented race car driver. So yeah, especially in the case of Haley Deegan. Haley Deegan gets a lot of hate. Haley Deegan has won ARCA races. Haley Deegan has won all kinds of races. It's not like Haley Deegan's never won anything. Like that, I don't get. Danica Patrick, I can understand. Her personality was not for everybody, so I can understand the hate for her. Natalie Decker, I'm just not 100% familiar with. So as far as the hate for Natalie Decker goes, that poured in on that video I made. So I got some insight to that, but I didn't know she had that many haters. But now I know. I don't know why though. We ran a full tube chassis Z28. It was 1994 to 95 when we ran. So yeah, that would be sort of the similar era where I was at. Before they switched over to the Catfish Camaro. Yeah, that's when I was watching it. So I probably saw your car out there, man. That's really cool. Robin Marks, you ain't heard an accent until you heard a Newfie accent. You need a interpreter if you don't have Newfie kin. So down here at the Outer Banks, I forget what they call it, but the Outer Banks of North Carolina, they got a crazy accent in one of those regions as well. So I'm pretty sure I know what you're talking about, and I think they're both. I think they're both Scottish based, which is sort of what makes them. They got some Celtic and some Scottish and some weird stuff in them, which makes them really hard to pronounce. And possibly some Gypsy, which is also basically Celtic and Scottish. Fair enough. William did hit Joey first. I just would have liked to see a finish more like the 32 and 97. Oh man, me too. I was really pulling for a close finish, but I can't necessarily in that moment blame Joey for what he did, because I was like, man, I hated the way that ended. I was like, but I would have done the same damn thing. So I can't hate on Joey for that, because I might have done worse, just because I probably would have been a hothead by if that many laps go by. Has anyone grew up listening to Jackie Stewart calling races on ABC? I remember old Jackie Stewart. He's got a Heineken commercial, Drive Responsibly. Hail Mother Russia, where's my vodka, says Mickey Logano. So there you go. Let's see here. Good potato vodka is Finlandia. That's a really good one. It's really smooth and pretty good for the price as well, if I remember correctly back in the day. Bone says Mark Bukowski, yes, and each ran competitively on their way up, and Danica won an IndyCar race. No one that raced her in NASCAR can make that claim. Maybe Robbie Gordon though. Didn't Robbie Gordon and Tony Stewart would be the only two that can make that claim, but I don't ever recall. I remember Tony Stewart being a big fan, and I think Robbie Gordon liked her to an extent until he started complaining about she had a weight advantage in an Indy car or something like that. But those would be the only two that come to mind in that era. Mark Rukowski says Smoke cans talking about, but Smoke never was a detractor. He was a believer in Danica. I do think she was rushed. If she had spent more time in Xfinity, she would have probably been better off. But that being said, she wasn't getting any younger either. She just came over really late. I met Joey at Bristol at the All-Star before my race. My daughter wanted a 22 shirt. No, he's a butt. Joey was the nicest. You told her no, he's a butt. But Joey was the nicest guy after the race. Big fan since, but I get it. Yeah, that's what I try to tell people all the time. I'm like, all these people that hate Joey Logano, like, even if you hate him, if you went up and just met the dude, super nice guy. Super nice guy. Raptor is a Ford. Raptor bedliner is different than the truck. It's owned by Axalta. I like Willie having his own identity, and this Raptor schemes are nice compared to his Axalta scheme. So D Moran is in the camp that likes that Raptor scheme. I think the new Raptor scheme looks better, way better than the old one. That being said, the old Raptor scheme, I do have a 1/24th. I got a 1/24th of both of Willie B's wins to that first Martinsville race I went to, because that was the first time I've ever watched a weekend and a guy swept the weekend. He won the truck race and he won the Cup race. And that first weekend they didn't have an Xfinity race, so he swept the weekend. So I got both of those die casts. Still waiting on the truck, but I did get the small die cast with the confetti on it. Robin Marks, Lord Thundering. I missed that one. That must be some of that. I forget the region now, but you told me what it was. Some of that strange Canadian talk, some strange Canuck talk there. Harvick does have great paint schemes. Makes collecting hard though. LOL. Oh yeah. I learned that the hard way. I had to give up. Newfie. That's what I'm talking. Newfie. Okay, Irish. So not Scottish, but Irish. Newfie is Irish. Okay, so but that's what I was saying. It's from sort of the Celtic areas, and somewhere somebody in Scotland is like, we got nothing to do with the Irish. We're totally different. I get it. I understand. Uncle Bones says, Mark Bukowski, I forgot Tony raced with her. My bad. I never noticed that every time I went to the Outer Banks for vacation, it's just one region. It's not even all of the Outer Banks. There's one region of the Outer Banks. and they speak this weird dialect. I'll look it up. I'll look it up and post a link. Let's see here. I've never even heard it, and I'm from there, but or I lived in that area for a little while. But I can't think of what it's called off the top of my head. Ronnie Checker says, yes, old home guy Jackie's commentary was great. Yeah, he's a legend all the way around. Hello, Bloney Burger. Which brain dead NASCAR official got the idea of putting mufflers on the car for Chicago and LA? What the F? Yep. It sounds like a city ordinance sort of got in their ear. They're probably doing whatever they got to do to make those races happen. Let's see here. Spitfire Dragon says, as a person who has been called the R word as a kid because of my hearing and speech, probably it is hard to forgive Haley Deegan for using that word a few years ago. She needs to learn not to use it. Yeah, so that was a really not good moment for her, and also I think Kyle Busch had a controversy with that. Yeah, that was a bad deal for them, and I think that they're going to do their best not to ever talk like that again. But that being said, I get it. I get it. Sometimes it's hard to let go of things. I totally get it. Let's see here. Popular drivers with funding seem to get rushed through the ranks quite often. Yeah, I agree with Kevin. Says Kevin for the win. I agree with that. It's not always what you can do. Sometimes it's who you know. A lot more times and often than not, it's who you know. Sam Hornish was a good open wheel invader. He made a solid run at the Xfinity Championship and won on ovals. Yeah, the unfortunate thing about Sam Hornish is about the time he started getting good at it, he lost all of his good rides, and that was a bummer. Chrome Diesel says, Wagaman, I don't think it's a good idea to race at Chicago downtown. As someone who's been trucking past Chicago, it's not a city worth visiting, especially the day traffic and the high crime rate. So that's one thing that people are not talking about. The traffic in Chicago is already bad, and this is going to make it a lot worse, which is not going to create a lot of good sentiment for NASCAR. So I think it's actually going to be one of those deals where it could, in that particular case, be shooting themselves in the foot once again. But once again, hopefully I get proved wrong. Hopefully it goes off without a snag. I feel Sam Hornish is overlooked a lot, says Dakota Henderson. He was pretty good. I've worn a Sam Hornish shirt on this channel before. So I was a big believer, especially when he got to Petty. I was hoping he could get a win. Like I said, by the time he started getting pretty good at driving a stock car, the opportunities dried up. In the mid 80s, I moved. Uncle Bone says, William Wagaman, in the mid 80s, I moved from the Midwest to Washington State, and I laughed out loud because the sprint cars had mufflers on them. So there you go. Noise ordinances, man, they're crazy. You'd be amazed at how many races get shut down because of noise. I surprisingly liked Joey in the booth, but tend to get annoyed by him on the track, says Kevin for the win. That seems to be what a lot of people say. He's just one of those guys. You either pull for him or you don't. There's no in between on that deal. T-Van says, I'm a fan of the new Raptor scheme. Yeah, I think adding a little bit of white to it to break it up a little bit, I think that helped it quite a bit. I agree 100% with you, Mr. Diesel. Why are these stupid people come up with these ideas that is beyond brain dead? Just goes to show you what type of officials we have now. Yeah, so I feel like muffling the cars is not coming from NASCAR. I think that's coming from basically the city of Chicago and the city of LA. So I think NASCAR is just in a pinch. Now, of course, NASCAR wanted to have the races there, so that part's on them. Let's see here. NASCAR is going racing in traffic. Being fast at time attack is great, but not the same. Danica comes from kart style racing. Not fair to expect her to win cup races. She did great for what it was. Yeah, it's a big transition. And we, like I've said in the past, you saw the same thing with Jimmy Johnson. It's a big transition. Especially when they both did it later in their career. Newfie Screech is a great paint thinner. People drink it too. Golly. Man. Let's see here. Danny Price says, if you heard me talk, you would think I sound funny too. Yep, East Coast way. Yeah, so every region has some pretty funny accents. And color is spelled with a U, LOL, says Danny Price. Oh, yeah. There's some small, slight spelling differences depending on your version of English. Spitfire, you're right. But if we all make mistakes alone, Does not define you, says Ronnie Checkers. So yeah, I do believe in forgiveness, but I also understand when something's close and personal like that. I also understand it is hard sometimes to let it go. And you can also, forgive somebody and still not like them. You can also love somebody and still not like them. So it's all part of it. Chrome Diesel says even the Chicago layout itself is a recipe for disaster with so many 90-degree turns. Yeah, it's going to be a hard pass. It's going to be hard passing. Like there's just no way around it. I think it's going to be terrible, but I hope I'm wrong. Like if that makes any sense. Hurt Scott Miller will be picking up dog droppings as his new responsibilities, as well as looking for poison ivy and putting out caution signs to warn of it. There you go. Scott Miller does not have a lot of fans. I'll say that. Mickey Logano, thank you. Someone finally said what I've been concerned about with Chicago. Yeah, I think it's just going to be really hard to pass, and I think it's going to be a really boring race. Let's see, but I hope I'm wrong. Hypothetical question: who would have more success in a 10-year span with Hendrick Motorsports, Logano, Harvick, Truex, Hamlin, or Kenseth? With Hendrick Motorsports, Kevin Harvick. Kevin Harvick, in my opinion, Jimmy Johnson would have as many titles as he has if Kevin Harvick was driving Hendrick equipment. And that's I've always felt like that. And that being said, that's 100% because I'm a Kevin Harvick homer. So if you disagree with that, that's fine. Like that, I understand you disagree with that, but Kevin Harvick was my favorite guy, and that came out of my mouth a lot of times in the 2000s. I was like, if Kevin Harvick was driving that Hendrick stuff, Johnson wouldn't be winning squat. So that's 100% homer talk from me. But I think it would be Kevin Harvick out of that deal. Matt Kenseth would have definitely benefited. All those guys would have benefited. Denny Hamlin, maybe not so much. I feel like Denny Hamlin was driving Hendrick equipment until they switched over to Toyota. So Denny Hamlin, when Gibbs was running Chevrolets, was basically running Hendrick equipment. Mark Wachowski, Hornish came along a little late in age, but a great driver. I agree with you. I love Sam Hornish, says T-Van. Yeah, 100%. That's cool, man. A lot of Sam Hornish fans. I was a Sam Hornish fan, too. I got a couple Hornish T-shirts when he drove the, what was it, Twisted T? The Twisted T number 9. I think that's what it was. Look out 2022 IndyCar road course race turned out, including that miserable flat turn 1. William Tyre says too many thin skins. Let's see here. I can't stand Logano or Hamlin on the track. They're both hysterical when they're doing podcasts. So that's a fair point on both of those guys. A lot of people don't like them in the race car, but off the track, they do like them because they keep something going in the media. And they got engaging personalities. Danny Price says Newfoundland has Screech. Nova Scotia has Great Room. So there you go. Cassandra Keller says, hey, Uncle Bones, my family are from Washington State. I was born in Spokane. So there you go. West Coast and North and West Coast. Sort of everybody touching that Canada area. So there you go. Big connection there. Tacoma 2, any word on if they fixed the car to stop injuries? Supposedly they have it fixed, but that's also, they said they liked the numbers last year, so we'll just have to see it in practice. I no longer even pay attention to what they say. Cassandra, you live in a beautiful part of the United States, says Mark Barnum. Mickey Logano says, I've always thought NASCAR should move the All-Star race at the end of the season, like some kind of winter event where they go somewhere they wouldn't normally go. It would make sense for them to do something like that. And I think that's sort of tied up in some controversy. So I think that's why they're doing it with the Clash instead of the All-Star race. I've never really thought F1 or Cup drivers were superior to each other. They're just two very different disciplines. I agree with that 100%, Kevin, for the win. I love motorsports in general. I'm just most familiar with NASCAR. Kind of the same deal here. It's just two totally different things. That being said, there are drivers in both of those sports that can get into a car and get it 90% of the way. There's just some rare drivers in both of those sports because in their respective regions, they're the most high profile motorsport. So obviously the most high profile is going to usually attract the best of the best. So there you go. Hey, Cassandra and Uncle Bones, I came from Washington State. I was born in Tacoma. My dad ran a state line speedway in Idaho near Spokane. So there you go. Big Washington connection today. So that's really cool. The CUDA 70 says, what happened with Elio was promised a Daytona ride, and now I do not see anything. They're still working on it as far as I know. They're trying to get it done. It's not for lack of effort. I know that. NASCAR should let the cars have full horsepower to help wear out the tires. I agree 100%. Anytime you have tire fall off, it definitely leads to better racing. Kevin for the win. I strongly agree about Harvick and Hendrick, but I'm biased too. Yeah, 100%. Danny Price says I can't make fun of a driver in the Pro Series because compared to them, I can't drive a sharp stick in a snowbank. Yeah, I agree with that 100%. I'm in the same boat with you, man. Bo Darville says I think Joey is the least talented of those 5 drivers. I don't know, man. We're just now starting to see peak Joey Logano, so maybe if you're talking about right now, but I think in 5 years from now it might be a different conversation. Has Nissan ever been mentioned in a NASCAR manufacturing talk? There have been like Reddit stuff about it, but the only manufacturers I've heard with any type of legs to it have been Dodge, Honda, and Volkswagen. Those are the only ones I've heard talked about that I have had confirmed people, or I've seen confirmed people with NASCAR talk about it. Those are the only 3. So and basically, and there's an article, and I can't find it, but there's an article from back in the day that talks about inside of NASCAR headquarters at one point they had a Volkswagen Passat or whatever the big Volkswagen is. I think it was a Passat back then. It's an Ayrton now or something like that. So they had a Volkswagen, they had a Honda Accord, and they had the Dodge. We all saw the Dodge Charger. It was the Dodge Charger they didn't run. But during that era, all 3 of those were sitting in NASCAR headquarters waiting for approval. VW had Dieselgate at that time, and I don't know what happened with Honda other than that they might have just been testing the waters. Or the flip side of that is NASCAR could have built those cars to encourage those manufacturers to get into the sport. Either way, I do have it on good authority that those 3 cars were sitting in NASCAR headquarters for anybody in the world to see that was visiting NASCAR headquarters. So I know for a fact that those 3 at one point in the mid-2000s were talking about coming to NASCAR. No doubt in my mind, because the guy that told me that, he's pretty high up there and he's in the know. I'm not going to like call him out and put him on blast for that. Although I don't think it would be a big deal at this point because that, like I said, that was like mid 2000s. But he turned my head around when he told me that. I was like, Volkswagen, like that's the one that really, like Honda, I understand. And Dodge, of course, I totally understand. But when he said Volkswagen, I was like, Volkswagen. I was like, I never thought Volkswagen would be interested in NASCAR. So that one really turned my head around when I heard that one. So let's see here. Bones 2, I went to Skagit Speedway when I was a kid. My dad's friend ran there, and he let my dad take a spin in his race car on the track. So that's pretty cool. I've never even heard of that one, but that's pretty cool. So Skagit Speedway, that's pretty cool. Y'all got some really cool names for stuff up in Canada too. I will say that. And what's that? Y'all also have some really cool like branding. Like I can't remember who makes it. Dunlop. Like down here, Dunlop is a tire. It's like y'all got like some places like a tire center, but you can go into that tire center and it's like down here it would have been a Sears, but y'all call it a tire center. But they got all kinds of stuff you can buy in there. It's just like a general thing. But y'all got Dunlop boots and stuff like that, and it's pretty unique how things are branded differently. Up there. I can't call the name of it, but it's some type of tire center. Because Steve Wallace is always talking about, I went to the tire center, and then he comes back and he's got these tents and all this other stuff. So it must be like a Sears down here in the States. Canadian Tire, that's it. Thank you, Dakota Henderson. Yeah, it threw me off for the longest time when Canadian people would be talking about, yeah, we just went to Canadian Tire and got this and that, and I'm like, y'all got all that stuff at a tire place? Because here, if it's a tire place, it's literally just that. It's a garage, and you can get tires there and maybe an inspection and maybe get your car repaired. But I guess Canadian Tire is like the old Sears before Sears went bankrupt. The old Sears we used to have down here. Let's see here. William Wagaman says, yes, old home guy. That's why they're going to have more problems. The big joke with Phoenix today was the ridiculous spoiler that they ran. Yeah, hopefully they go with that smaller spoiler. Mickey Logano says Nissan GTR and Cup would be BA. I agree with you 100%. Let's see, but I think Nissan was Nissan was talking about getting into, and they did get into the Australian V8 supercars at one point, but they only did it for a few years. Well, Baloney, if you ever come up this way, we'll go out for steak and lobster. I appreciate it, Danny Price. Got to get my passport renewed for that. Mark Barnum says lived in Lacey, Washington for a while, back before most of the chatters. LOL. So there you go. Mark Barnum saying he's probably a little bit older than some of y'all. What's Chevy's replacement for the Camaro when they quit making them? They're going to come with a 4-door, and I know I know 4-door cars are supposed to be called sedans, but they're going to come with a 4-door coupe, and it's going to be the same. In my opinion, it's going to be the same thing that the Corvette coupe is based on, and they'll both be 4 doors, but they're going to call them a coupe because that's what they're going to do. Not my decision to make there. Let's see here. Dakota Henderson said Canadian Tire. William Wagner said, you didn't hear they're bringing the Vega back. Yeah, I don't know what they're going to call it, but it's going to be a 4-door coupe. I promise you that's what they're going to call it. I used to watch Herschel McGriff in the Northwest back in the 70s. He won a few races in NASCAR back in the 60s. He is the oldest driver to compete in NASCAR event a few years ago. Yeah, he was 90-something years old, and I think he ran in ARCA or K&N or something like that. And I think it was at Daytona, so that was pretty cool. Still had that fire in his belly. I still wanted to go hard. Mark Barnum says Princess Auto is the Harbor Freight of Canada. Okay, so Princess Auto, I've heard that one before. Canadian Tire stores are huge. Yeah, it just sounds weird to us down here because we're not used to it. We just immediately think of just a tire shop, really. We don't think of it as being just a multi-purpose store. Mark Bukowski says the Chevy Volt. I think they're discontinuing the Volt for something else too, if I remember correctly, or at least the body style that it is, and they're going with something else. They might retain the name. Old Home Guy said, I saw a video last year that Cadillac would come in and replace Chevy. I mean, that could be quite possible. Cadillac is pushing the motorsports quite hard here recently, so that wouldn't surprise me at all. Do you think NASCAR on ice in the Euro Series will come to the USA? Says Kevin for the win. So far, they've had issues with supply chain up there, so that race isn't even going to happen right now as it stands. So we'll have to see if they can get it done over there in Europe before they bring it to the United States. If it goes well, I think it's got a chance of coming over there. Canadian Smarties are a great candy. We've got Smarties over here. I wonder if it's the same Smarties. Princess Auto in Canada is a cool name. Yeah, that is a pretty cool name. Kind of reminds me of a cruise ship, like Princess Cruise Lines. Princess Auto rocks, says Danny Price. 4 doors identifying as a coupe, says Mark Wachowski. I'm not going to touch that one because people get bent out of shape about that stuff. So I'm not gonna touch that one. One wise guy says, thanks for hanging out tonight, BB. I appreciate y'all hanging out. One wise guy. We are going to wrap it up here in just a few minutes, though. The Xfinity Series should have options of V8 6 cylinders and 4-cylinder engines to encourage other manufacturers to enter in NASCAR. I agree. They could do something like IMSA did back in the day. That's a good point, Dakota. Like IMSA does, you can bring whatever you want to, and then they just homologate the engines. I know Mazda ran a 4-cylinder, and I know most everybody else ran a V6, and they were all turboed. And then Chevrolet just came in with a naturally aspirated V8. So you could run whatever you wanted to run, and they just sort of tweaked them so that they all run about the same horsepower. And I think that would make the sport more fun because then you could gripe and argue with, such and such cheating. Y'all got to bring this and that to have a better motor than us. We would complain about it, but it would make the sport fun again, right? Because that was some of the fun back in the day between Chevy, Dodge, and Ford owners. They would talk junk about who had the better motor because eventually the bodies all became the same. So let's see, Uncle Bones, Spitfire, the Dragon, TV, Love, and Positive Light in '83. I was buying John a Youngquist car. I was able to get it when it was new car came out from Tognati. It came 2 days from Dirt Cup, and John wadded it up. That seems like that's the way a new car always goes. You get all hyped up about a new car, and it goes and gets wrecked on the first race. Chevy Cruze would make a cool race car for short tracks, says Bo Darville. It would for sure. Unfortunately, they got rid of that one. I think the only car that they make now is the Malibu, and because they got rid of that super cheap car. It used to be called a Chevy Aveo, then they call it the Chevy Spark. They got rid of that, and I think the Camaro, which they're getting rid of, and the Malibu are the only two cars that Chevrolet currently produces. I remember Cadillac Corvette car, the XLR or something. Yep, they definitely had that. That was definitely a thing. Let's see. I keep hearing that the Chevelle is getting made. That is the name I keep hearing over and over again too. I don't know if that'll be the name they go with, but that is the name you keep hearing over and over again as the nameplate they're going to go with. Mickey Logano says, I think NASCAR would do better in the ratings if they shorten the schedule by making each track have one date. They don't even have to shorten the schedule, but most tracks would have one date. I would still like to see Daytona have two. There are certain, and Bristol should still have two. But other than that, I'm with you. That way you can spread it out against more states and more cities. If each track just got one race. Most manufacturers have V8s, says Old Home Guy. Yeah, they do now. But like I said, you could run different types of motors. I know Ford had the V6 with the turbos. Mazda, like I said, ran the 4-cylinder turbo, and General Motors has always run the V8 in varying sizes. We took a punch and would burr the carburetor. So when they would check the carburetor, the tool would sit on the burr to pass tech. That's awesome. That's pretty smart. Mickey Logano, them trying to compete with the NFL isn't helping them where they are. When are they going to realize that? That's a good question, Mickey Logano. That's a great question. They just keep trying though. Let's see here. Drop the merch for the new people. So let me do that real quick. T-shirts, stickers, hoodies, coffee mugs, tank tops. I know I got tank tops in there. Stuff. If you want to buy the stuff, there's where you can buy the stuff. Let's see here. The hoodies. I got the hoodie is actually really comfortable. I do have a hoodie. Let's see here. Good news. I got a clean scan into last week. It's in the clear, baby. So all right, congratulations, Cassandra. We're glad you're got a clear bill of health there, and we're super happy for that. So let's celebrate Cassandra right there. Drop a clap in the chat or whatever you want to drop. That's awesome news, Cassandra. Let's see here. Imagine being a Supra with a 6-cylinder like that in real life. I'd love to see an inline 6 in real life. That'd be really cool. Cadillac has a coupe with a Corvette motor in it. Yeah, that's the XLR, and it's also they're all hardtop convertibles, if I'm not mistaken, as well. My dad used to be called the walking watermelon at State Line Speedway in Idaho. He had a green and black 67 Ford Mustang with a watermelon with legs painted on his car. So there you go. That's really cool. The original Watermelon Man, old Spitfire Dragon. Her dad was the original Watermelon Man. That's pretty cool. D Moron says, I heard Camaro was going to get its own sub brand too. That would be cool. Hopefully they do. They also do that as well. But I hadn't heard that. I know Corvette is. Cadillac CTS-V would be awesome as well. Yeah, that CTS-V was the meanest thing that GM has ever made, in my opinion. That and the Z28 Camaro of the current body that they have now, where they put the 7.4-liter motor in it, and it was basically just a track car. Those are two of the meanest cars General Motors has ever made from the factory. The NFL and NASCAR, totally agree. Mickey says Kevin for the win. Yeah, they just need to put that in the ground and be done with it and stop worrying with it. Let's see. I'm going to CE Neal. Oh my God, it was after Youngquist won the Skagit Championship, says Bones 2. So Bones 2 knows exactly who you're talking about, Spitfire. Chrome Diesel, the conversation of shorter races started when stage racing came. No one even addresses the stage racing caused the time length to go beyond its scheduled distance. I agree. They should just stop throwing. They can keep the stages, just stop throwing cautions for them. Danny, do you eat your Smarties? Do you eat the red ones last? Says Old Home Guy. Cassandra Keller says, I know that car. The GR Supra is a modified BMW Z4. M40i, says Project 94. Yeah, the new one is for sure. I think they were talking about the old. They might have been talking. No, because if it's GR, it's definitely the BMW version. Yeah, for 100% sure. That is the Supra is a rebadged BMW, but if you're going to rebadge a car, the Z4 is a good one to rebadge with, right? Spitfire says, I am a guy, LOL. so Spitfire is a guy, just FYI. I wonder where Joe Graff Jr. is going. there you go. I don't know. I haven't heard anything. I feel like I read a rumor on Reddit or something, and I was trying to think, but I don't know where Joe Graff is going. I did know that. So sorry about that, Spitfire. If I called you a girl earlier, I apologize. Sometimes I just get rolling. State Line Racetrack 20 is 20 minutes from me. So there you go. State Line. We were talking about that the other day. What were we talking about the other day about State Line? We were talking something about State Line the other day. I hope they announced no stage cautions for road courses. I hope so too. They talked about it. Hopefully they follow through with it. I agree with you, say Kyle, not Cal. Why not put a BMW engine on Xfinity supercar? LOL. Yeah, that'd be an easy transition. You've already got the Supra nose, so just go full BMW in the Xfinity series. Mickey Logano says, I'll be laughing so hard if NASCAR gets a new manufacturer and it turns out to be Jaguar. That'd be pretty funny. What if they got a new manufacturer and it ended up to be like Buick or Lincoln? That would be even funnier too, right? Or Cadillac. Just a rebadge of something they've already got. Spitfire says the owners of State Line Speedway lived in Spokane, where we had meetings at. The owners showed the track to Chad Little's parents. That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. Old Chad Little. Chad Little making some news today. Mark Bukowski says stage racing bugs me. Yeah, if they want to break up a race, they should just have heat races and count the heat race distance into the overall distance of the event. That would just be a much better way of doing it. Any talk of new rules other than fireproof underwear and socks? Well, they're working on a new short track package, but they haven't released anything yet, and they haven't said for sure that they're getting rid of stage cautions in road courses. Buick is the new manufacturer, says Mark Barnum. There you go. Let's see. Chrome Diesel says bugs me too since 2017. Sold. Sorry. Oh, so sold it to Chad Little and his family. So there you go. Chad Little running a racetrack. Who knew? And I guess that's where his son is going off to work as well, I would imagine. I know he's also doing some TV and some media. Supreme Baller, what's up? What's up, man? Skagit Speedway is now owned by Casey Kane's family. I knew Casey Kane's family owned a racetrack, but I didn't know which one it was. So there you go. And Supreme Baller says, let me see the jacket. It looks clean from the top. Yeah, here we go. There's the full deal. All the sub sponsors there. Got the Lucas Oil. I like that one. Yeah, so I got this jacket. I got this jacket for free. I appreciate it, Supreme Baller. Let's see. He said that's clean. I like it. So all right. Chrome Diesel says, would be funny if viewership and ratings go up if stage cautions are removed from road courses. I agree. I think that would be great. 100%. I think that would be great. Mark Barnum says Haley took new underwear too serious, maybe going for a Victoria's Secret sponsorship. Victoria's Secret stock is in the gutter, so I don't know if they're going to be sponsoring anything anytime soon. But yeah, I feel like I know what you're talking about, but I have not investigated that yet. And I don't think I can talk about any of it on here, even if I did. Mick Logano says, honestly, Cadillac replacing Chevy would make the most sense because Chevy has gone full electric and Cadillac runs V8s, at least right now. Well, in NASCAR, it's going to be a hybrid whenever they do it. And old home guy says, has anyone found Jeffrey Earnhardt's Yugo race car? I spent a solid 2 hours looking for it one day, and I have not found any pictures of it yet. And nobody I know has any pictures of it. I did ask some people up in the South Boston area, and none of them knew. Unless somebody knows some of the G's, I'm pretty sure one of the G's hung the body. So if you know one of the G's, maybe they've got a picture of it. Let's see here. Uncle Bones 2, Spitfire, the Dragon TV, Love and Positive Light, yes, and Dirt Cup will be 410 sprint car once again. So there you go. Some sprint car news right there. That's pretty cool. Supreme Baller says, any idea where I can find a jacket like that? Your best bet, your cheapest bet is going to be eBay. But they do still sell these at the RCR shop. If you go to, I think it's RCR store, or if you go to RCR, basically their racing page, it'll give you the option to go to the RCR store. And they do still have some jackets similar to this one. I don't know if they got this exact one, but they do have some Austin Dillon Dow jackets in there. They had some Caterpillar Tyler Reddick jackets in there and some Caterpillar Daniel Hemrick jackets in there last time I looked as well. So yeah, definitely for sure. But if you can't find them there, if you're looking for this specific one, I know Hendrick has one for some of the Hendrick drivers. 2311 has some really cool ones. 2311 has a really cool starter jacket too, but it's a little expensive. It's about 170 bucks. But yeah, those would be the best bets. But for sure, if you can't find them there, somebody will have them on eBay. If they don't have them this week, just check every month. Eventually, you'll find one. Like Dislike says, late for the party, had to help the kids with the school project. Well, that's cool, man. At least you were helping the kids with the school project. That is respectable. I needed all the help I could get when I was in school, so it was always appreciated when anybody helped me. They test rain tires. I remember rain tire testing 20 plus years ago. Yeah, they tested rain tires actually at Martinsville of all places, and they have also tested them, of course, at road courses. But yeah, they did test recently. As recently as last year, at the end of last year, so not even a full year lengthwise, they did test rain tires at Martinsville. Spring Baller, eBay, heck yeah, they have some heat. Oh yeah, for sure. eBay's where it's at right now. Unless you're selling stuff, eBay's taking a super big chunk of stuff you're selling now. I got some cameras I'm trying to move, but eBay's taking too big of a chunk out of it, so I guess I'm gonna have to put them on Facebook Marketplace. Because eBay is killing me here. Let's see. One of my dad's competitors in Colorado Springs was Mike Bonicelli, who ran some NASCAR races in the early '80s. I do remember that name, and I don't know if I said it right, but I do remember that last name for sure. Supreme Baller says 4 drivers that'll be hot in 2023. Chase Elliott, Kyle Larson, Joey Logano, and I think Kyle Busch, and probably Kevin Harvick. I'll give you a 5th in there. I think they're definitely going to be they're going to be on fire next year. My Jack Russell Terrier, and also I think Ross Chastain keeps it going. My Jack Russell Terrier is telling me time for this evening walk. Good night, y'all. Thank you for the encouragement. Thank you, Cassandra. Glad you are feeling better. Glad you got that clean bill of health. And have fun on your walk with your dog there. Chrome Diesel says, if we want an all-star race to return to its former glory, get rid of the win and you're in playoffs, stage cautions, and charters. Yeah, I think so too. I wouldn't disagree with any of that. Mark Wachowski's going with Kyle Busch, Ross Chastain, Joey Logano, and Kevin Harvick there. Bone says, good night to Cassandra. Anyone think iRacing Monster Games will get NASCAR license for 2024? I think iRacing has the best chance of getting it. But whether or not they get it, that's another question. What's the track they are repacking right now? I think the last one I saw repaved was Rockingham. So I think Rockingham was the last one I saw repaved. Supreme Baller says Elliott, Busch, Blaney, Logano. I think even Cindric will turn some heads. I like all those picks. I'm really big on Blaney. I think Blaney's going to come out next year, and and it's just a matter of time before Cindric breaks out. But I think Blaney's coming back next year with something to prove, or this year coming up with something to prove. Yeah, they're agreeing with me down in the chat. It is Rockingham that's getting repaved right now. Supreme Baller says, I am really high on Cindric. Maybe it's the Xfinity Performance or the 2-car right now. I'm not going to even lie to you, Supreme Baller. I read I'm really high on Cindric, and I thought that the Cindric word might have been a different word, and I was like, I don't know if I can say that. Then I had to reread it, and I was like, oh, I'll get my mind out of the gutter because you didn't even say that. So Dr. Dre's album was called The Chronic. So make of that what you will. I wish NASCAR put more short tracks on the schedule, more short tracks. NASCAR is what it became. Yeah. Landon Huffman posted about the Xfinity schedule, and he said it's hard to believe that just like 15 or so years ago that X amount percentage of these tracks were short tracks. So it's short tracks definitely made the sport, and hopefully they get back to them. Old Home Guy says 6-car in Daytona and the 43 championship. Call reminder again. Oh yeah, I'm picking Kyle Busch, but I like those picks, Old Home Guy. I don't think you're far off at all. I like those picks for sure, and I think the 43 car is definitely a sleeper for the title. The game debacle is mind blowing. NASCAR wants to talk about getting the younger generation, yet they let this nonsense go on. I agree with you. NASCAR should be dropping the hammer to get a good game out. I 100% agree with you, say Kyle Night Cal. like if you don't have a video game nowadays, your sport might as well be dead. And NASCAR is playing a dangerous game with that. They at least do have iRacing, but iRacing is not specifically a NASCAR video game. Bowman had some promising consistency before the summer stretch. So did Byron. Yeah, I agree. I'm waiting for both of those guys to like really break out. And I say Bowman needs to break out. I mean, how many more races does the guy got to win to be off the hot seat one day? So I don't know. Bo Darville says, I don't know who will win the Mickey Championship, but the old number 5 is still going to be the best out there. Of course, I'm with you. I'm a massive Kyle Larson fan. Dummy Shocks with outboards, says Aaron Flynn. Supreme Ballers laughing at what I just said. I'm a little off something like that too, he says as well. So yeah, that's just how I read it, and I was like, I don't know if I can read that. And then I reread it, and I was like, he said Cindric. So that just tells you where my mind was at today, I guess. Camaro 50 says, good night to all. Have a safe drive down to Daytona BV. Yeah, no doubt. I am going to take it easy. I'm going to be safe with that drive. So I appreciate the good thoughts and well wishes, Camaro 50. Camaro 50 got his car back on the road, by the way. The Camaro for Camaro 50 is rolling and looking good. Supreme Baller, is it me or is the Xfinity at times way more fun to watch than Cup? It's 100% more fun to watch than Cup because they can pass. It's just it's a better show, better product. Aloha from the Big Island of Hawaii. I'm late going back to the beginning to enjoy it. Good to have you on here, Mr. Gillespie. Let's see here. Mickey Logano says, after watching Elliott lose the title in 2022, I now know how Harvick fans felt in 2020. Yeah, it's rough. It's rough to lose one like that. Unfortunate system is all I can say about that one. William Wagman says, good night. Have fun down at Daytona. I definitely will. We'll get some videos out before I go down there, though. Cletus is bringing a Ranger race to Bristol Dirt. Yeah, I saw some guys trying to find Rangers because they want to be a part of that race. So that's going to be cool, home guy. Xfinity and trucks are some of the best racing. Xfinity for sure. Trucks used to be, but now there's too much wrecking in trucks. So hopefully they get that cleaned up next season. Dirt track street stock, says Aaron Flynn. Those are fun too. Good night, says Bones. I'm concerned Bowman will the junior effect where his concussion will negatively affect his driving like it did with junior in 2017. Yeah, they could be, Mickey. Hopefully that doesn't happen though. I can't resist to say can't resist to stay where you live, says Dennis Gillespie. So there you go. Let's see here. Good night, Uncle Bones, too. Stay safe, everybody. Please hit the like button. Subscribe. It's free. Yeah, so if you want to hit the like button, and definitely if you want to subscribe, it is much appreciated. Trucks are pretty exciting, says Mark Bukowski. Yeah, I agree. Just hopefully they stop wrecking and driving like fools in the middle of the race there and at the end when they got like 12 green checkered restarts. Chrome Diesel says, Mickey Logano, as a Gordon, it stings seeing his best seasons diminished while his worst season was lifted. Yeah, that's true. I can see where you're coming from with that. Supreme Baller says, Xfinity next year is going to be insane, just like last year. So many hungry drivers. Yeah, like I even said it before the season last year. I was like, the Xfinity series has way more storylines than the Cup series, and I feel like it's pretty. Close as well this year, where they got just tons of good storylines. It's a really good series. And it's awesome. I wish I could watch more of it, but usually I'm at the track myself on Saturdays. Supreme Baller says, if you had an early championship 4, who'd it be? I'd take Custer, John Hunter Nemechek, Barry, and Austin Hill. I might be forgetting somebody. I actually like all those picks. You're not far off from where I'm at. Let's see. Yeah, I don't know. You always got to wonder, is Sam Mayer going to break out? And then also John Hunter Nemechek. I'm kind of interested to see what he'll do. But you got JHN in there. But yeah. So the only one at some point, I feel like Sam Mayer is going to break out. But that would be the only possible one I put in there. And then of course also Brandon Jones. Brandon Jones is always going to be threatening to get in there. Does Riley Herbst start to put together some wins? Riley Herbst is another one that could get in there. He's got a lot of experience in that series, and you can never count out Justin Allgaier. But I like your picks right there. That's a solid 4. I really like that Austin Hill pick, so I'm big on Austin Hill. Subbed and liked as always, says Supreme Baller. Always appreciated, my friend. Dennis Gillespie says it was supposed to say live. This thing I don't understand. I can't type so fast, so I talk to it, and sometimes it may. The text to talk doesn't treat me very well either. Yeah, Mickey 2020 was a disappointment for sure. It just made me dislike the playoffs more. Also, that Harvick would have 4 titles with season-long points. Yeah, it's just unfortunate, but it's the format we're strapped with now. Donnie Love says Josh Berry for the Xfinity Series Championship. That's a solid pick. Can't ever go wrong with Josh Berry. We need more experienced drivers in the trucks and Xfinity. The youngins is not learning when most of the field are mainly kids. Yeah, a veteran presence would help. Supreme Baller says, "Sorry, I'm typing like a moron." So yeah, you're fine, man. I can read everything you're saying. Don't worry about it. How many incidents between Noah and Ty this year? I think they'll start off clean, but I think once the first one happens, it's going to devolve rapidly. So I would say probably mid-season, we've got at least one going by then. Mark Barnum's going with Custer there. Supreme Baller says Justin Allgaier, Sammy Smith, and Chandler Smith will look to be threats for sure. I agree with that. I like that Sammy Smith pick for sure. I don't know if he'll make the Final Four this year, but I like him next year to definitely make the Final Four. I think the sort of rivalry between Elliott and Larson is going to reach a whole new level in 2023. Yeah, not only that, but you got the Noah Gragson and Ty Gibbs rivalry to watch, and then you've got Kyle Busch versus Tyler Reddick. There are quite a few storylines in Cup, but Xfinity's got a ton of them. Bo Darville, John Hunter Nemechek will put himself in the wall in the playoffs like he does every year. So he is starting to get a reputation for overdriving at the worst possible moment. There will be threats for sure, says Supreme Ball. Oh, yeah, they're going to talk some trash to each other. Josh Berry and Justin Allgaier will be forces to reckon with. Time is a ticking. Oh, yeah. Anybody at Junior Motorsports is going to be tough. There's no doubt about that. Berry or Custer are my championship picks. I like that. Kevin, for the win. Xfinity is going to be a war. Laughing his butt off, says Supreme. I agree with that 100%. Donnie says, amen, Mark. Y'all still here? Too cold for the dogs, says Cassandra Kelly. Yeah, we're still hanging in here. BB, what's your over/under on how many races until Ty Gibbs loses his cool and does something dumb? Well, if he's in the Clash, probably the very first race. If not, it'll happen by the first short track. I don't think it'll take long. Jeffrey Earnhardt could be a threat to win a few Xfinity races this year. He came close a few times. Well, I'm gonna be pulling for him no matter what. So he is the king yugo driver. So he is a number one in the Xfinity series for us here at Baloney Burger Media. So Jeffrey Earnhardt is race car driver 1 in Xfinity for us. Sheldon Creed, everybody else is 1A that we like. Sheldon Creed, totally forgot about him. That's another hot driver that needs a couple wins. Yeah, and both of those guys together on the same team are going to make it tough. Austin Hill and Sheldon Creed on the same team, they'll raise each other's level for sure. Kyle might straighten Ty out. That's a good chance. If I was Ty Gibbs, I wouldn't hook horns with Kyle Busch. Hill kind of overshadowed a former truck champ, LMFAO. Yeah, so yeah, he doesn't get talked about a lot, but he's just good, and nobody seems to talk about him. That is an interesting thing about him. Harvick won't hold back this year. If someone ticks him off, oh yeah, he's going to let it fly in more ways than one. I think they're going to be way more aggressive. They're not going to be conservative. I think they're going to try to go out with a bang. Kevin for the win says if Ty and Noah are in the same heat for the Clash, they might take each other out. I agree. And Donnie Love says Creed is a good pick. Yeah, I like the Creed pick as well. And with that one, that's going to be the end of this one, right up on the 2-hour mark. So we made it 2 hours. It was fun. I always have fun on these things, and I appreciate you guys. Until the next one, peace.